Did you know that some of Hollywood's biggest stars have Irish roots? Actors such as Paul Mescal in Gladiator 2 and Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer are making waves in Tinseltown. But this is nothing new. From the early days of cinema, Irish actors have made a significant contribution to the history of movies. Join me as I delve into the list of Hollywood's favourite Irish stars and see how many you remember. In the early days, Irish actors, like most ethnic groups, struggled with racial stereotyping. But now, being cast in such roles as a gladiator or a nuclear scientist, that is a thing of the past. Let's take a deep dive into the stars who identify as Irish. From the very early days of cinema until the up-and-coming stars of tomorrow, we look at the impact that Irish stars and theatres such as the Abbey has had on the silver screen. Before we begin, here is a trivia question for you. Why in Limerick, traditionally one of the most rebellious counties in Ireland, is there a statue to an English king, albeit a legendary one? Well, I will reveal the answer and what it has to do with Irish movie stars later in the video. If you enjoy the type of content in this video, please like, hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell to be informed of when we drop new content. Oona O'Connor was born Agnes Theresa McGlade in October 1880, and she worked extensively in theatre before becoming a character actor in film and television. She often portrayed comical wives, housekeepers and servants. She was a delightful character actor who held her own against such acting heavyweights as Charles Laughton, Boris Karloff, Tyrone Power, Barbara Stanwyck and Sidney Greenstreet. Often cast by studio heads as comic relief thanks to her strong Irish accent and rubber-faced expressions, most notably in Universal's horror classics Bride of Frankenstein and The Invisible Man. Her final role was as a devoted housekeeper in Billy Wilder's Witness for the Prosecution, a role she originated on stage. Her hilarious testimony during the trial is one of the film's. Barry Fitzgerald was born the 10th of March 1888 in Dublin and christened William Joseph Shields. Following his brother Arthur Boss Shields into acting, in 1915 he joined the Abbey Theatre, Dublin, and took the stage name Barry Fitzgerald so as not to compromise his civil service position. Success in a number of roles followed. He made his screen debut in Land of Her Fathers, filmed in Ireland in 1924, and in the same year he played Captain Jack Boyle in the stage premiere of Sean O'Case's Juno and the Paycock. In 1926 he played the original Flute of Good in O'Case's The Plough and the Stars. O'Case admired his acting abilities and later wrote the Silver Tassie for him. His casting as orator in Alfred Hitchcock's 1930 film version of Juno and the Paycock finally convinced him to become a professional actor, and he resigned from the civil service. In 1932 he toured America with the Abbey and returned in 1936 when the director John Ford cast him in his film version of The Plough and the Stars. Numerous roles followed, including parts in Howard Hawks' Bringing Up Baby and in 4 more Ford movies, including playing a Welshman in How Green Was My Valley. His defining role, however, came in 1944 when he starred as Father Fitzgibbon alongside Bing Crosby in Going My Way. His scene-stealing turn as a stage Irishman led to his being nominated for 2 Academy Awards for the same film, as Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor, the first and last time anyone was nominated for 2 awards for the same role. He won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. The success of Going My Way led to Fitzgerald being typecast as an over-the-top Irishman, and he noted with regret that whatever nationality he was given to play, his character soon became an Irishman. Despite displaying more versatile acting talents in And Then There Were None and The Naked City, He's probably most remembered on screen for his role as the matchmaker Micheline Og in the John Ford classic The Quiet Man, in which his brother Arthur also appeared. One of his final acting appearances was on television as a guest on the 1955 Christmas edition of Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Returning to Ireland around 1959, he died in Dublin on the 4th of January 1961. He never married. He was the first Irish person to win an Oscar, and on the 8th of February 1960, he was awarded a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Moyna McGill was born on the 10th of December 1895 in Belfast. She was an actor known for The Picture of Dorian Gray, The Twilight Zone and Miriam Rosella. She was married to Edgar Isaac Lansbury and Reginald Denham. She died on the 25th of November 1975 in Los Angeles, California, and was the mother of Angela Lansbury, who was best known for her role in the Disney classic Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Cyril Cusack was born in Durban, Natal, South Africa on the 26th of November 1910 to Alice Violet Cole, an English actress and chorus girl, and James Walter Cusack, an Irish mounted policeman in Natal. He was brought up in Ireland and was a child star on the Irish stage, appearing first at the age of 7. He toured Ireland with his own theatre company, and although he made some very telling film appearances, his small stature kept him from the classic roles. With his wife, Irish-born actress Morin Cusack, he is the father of actress Sinead Cusack and the grandfather of actor Max Irons. Having made his film debut in Knocknagow, he went on to appear in such classics as Shake Hands with the Devil, Odd Man Out, Fahrenheit 451 and The Day of the Jackal. He and Alec Guinness were rehearsing a radio version of The Cherry Orchard in 1939, but it was abandoned at the outbreak of war. Up until 1987, he had appeared in over 65 productions at the Abbey and was an associate of the theatre. In 1972, he was awarded a doctorate by the National University of Ireland. He died in Chiswick in London on the 7th of October 1993. Maureen O'Sullivan was born on May 17, 1911 in Boyle, County Roscommon. She had a distinguished performing career that extended from the 1930s until the mid-90s, but was perhaps best remembered for her portrayal of the scantily clad Jane opposite Johnny Weissmuller in his title role as Tarzan in a half-dozen jungle adventures. O'Sullivan, who attended convent and finishing school in London and Paris, was discovered in 1929 by director Frank Borzage in Dublin and was given a contract and went to Hollywood. Her debut film Song of My Heart opened the following year, and after playing small parts in a few more films, among them A Connecticut Yankee, O'Sullivan appeared in her first Tarzan adventure, Tarzan the Ape Man. She also featured in such movies as The Thin Man, The Barretts of Wimpole Street, A Day at the Races, A Yank at Oxford and Pride and Prejudice, before appearing in Tarzan's New York adventure, the last in the Tarzan series. After marrying writer-director John Farrow in 1936 and eventually becoming the mother of 7, O'Sullivan worked only intermittently, with Farrow's The Big Clock and Where Danger Lives among her few film appearances. In 1962, she began her Broadway career with Never Too Late. She also appeared in the 1965 film version. O'Sullivan made a notable return to the silver screen in 1986 with fine performances in Peggy Sue Got Married and playing mother to her real-life daughter Mia Farrow in Hannah and Her Sisters. She passed away aged 87 on the 23rd of June 1998, Scottsdale, Arizona. Geraldine Fitzgerald was an actor and stage director and was born on the 24th of November 1913 at 85 Lower Leeson Street, Dublin. The family later lived in Greystones, County Wicklow. Educated at convent schools, Geraldine studied for 3 years at the Dublin Metropolitan School of Art before turning to acting, and coached in technique by her maternal aunt, the actress Sheila Richards, appearing in 8 plays in the 1933-34 season of the Dublin Gate Theatre. Her most substantial gate role was that of Isabella Linton in a stage adaptation of Wuthering Heights, starring Micheál MacLiammóir as Heathcliff. Moving to London in 1934, she began acting in films and was well reviewed in Turn of the Tide, about two feuding Yorkshire fishing families, and as a heroine Maggie Tulliver in The Mill on the Floss. She infatuated the writer Patrick Hamilton, who stalked her obsessively and was enraged by her rebuffs, and inspired the character of venomous and ill-fated Netta Longden in his grim novel of pre-war Earl's Court, Hangover Square. In 1936, Fitzgerald married Edward William Lindsay Hogg, a gentleman horse racing enthusiast and dilettante playwright, but the marriage was dissolved in 1946. They had one son, Michael Edward Lindsay Hogg. Hoping to further her husband's songwriting ambitions, Geraldine moved with him to New York in 1938 and soon appeared on Broadway in the role of Ellie Dunn in the Mercury Theatre production of Heartbreak House by George Bernard Shaw, directed by and starring another Gate Theatre alumnus Orson Welles. The play's producer, John Houseman, remembered the unannounced arrival of an unbelievably lovely young woman with dark red Irish hair and was stunned by her beauty. Fitzgerald, who had an affair with Welles, in later years described his charisma as akin to a lighthouse. When you were caught in its beam, you were bathed in its illumination. When it moved on, you were plunged into darkness. Signed to a 7-year contract by Warner Brothers Pictures, Fitzgerald insisted on a clause, conceded reluctantly by the studio, that allowed her to perform in theatre for 6 months every year. Her first 2 Hollywood films, released in the same month, April 1939, were both box office smashes. The Warner's melodrama Dark Victory, in which she played the responsible, devoted friend of a vibrant but willful socialite played by Bette Davis, who remained a lifelong personal friend. The cast also included George Brent, Humphrey Bogart and Ronald Reagan. On loan to the Goldwyn Studio, she reprised her Gate Theatre role as Isabella Linton in Wuthering Heights, opposite Laurence Olivier in his breakthrough cinematic role as Heathcliff with Merle Oberon and David Niven. Fitzgerald received an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress. One British film historian has written that she was the only actor in the film who looked as if she'd read the book, and Olivia, disowning the film in later years, said that Fitzgerald was the only thing that still holds up. Despite these promising debuts, Fitzgerald's Hollywood career rapidly foundered, and over the next 7 years she made 12 more films, her co-stars including Alan Ladd, John Garfield, Peter Lorre, Sidney Greenstreet, Barbara Stanwyck and Loretta Young. Depending on who you believe, she either refused or was denied by studio executives the lead role of femme fatale Bridget O'Shaughnessy in The Maltese Falcon, and refused the part of Melanie Hamilton, which was played by Olivia de Havilland in Gone with the Wind. She defied the rigid strictures of the studio system with spirited refusals of what she deemed inferior roles. Warner's retaliated by confining her to B pictures and second female leads, and regularly suspended her for insubordination, or loaned her to rival studios. She supported Bette Davis again in Watch on the Rhine, as a dissatisfied wife of an aristocratic Nazi agent. After appearing in Wilson as Edith, the American president's resolute second wife, she played the neurotically possessive spinster sister of the title character in the weirdly compelling thriller The Strange Affair of Uncle Harry. When she left Hollywood, she resided permanently in New York, on Manhattan's Upper East Side, and she made 2 films in Britain, both with dark Victorian settings, So Evil My Love with Ray Milland, and The Late Edwina Black with Roland Culver. In the early 1950s, she concentrated on television work, appearing in many anthology drama series. She's honoured by a pavement star in Hollywood's Walk of Fame. Incapacitated by dementia from the mid-1990s, she died at her home on the 17th of July 2005 and was buried in Woodlawn Cemetery in the Bronx. Relatives in the theatrical profession include the Irish stage director Caroline Fitzgerald, her niece, Irish actor Susan Fitzgerald, and British actor Tara Fitzgerald, her grandniece. Morin Ohara was born on the 17th of August 1920, and she began life as Maureen Fitzsimons on Beechwood Avenue in the Dublin suburb of Ranelagh. She stated that she was born into the most remarkable and eccentric family I could have possibly hoped for. She became successful in Hollywood from the 1940s through to the 1960s. She was a natural redhead who was known for playing passionate but sensible heroines, often in westerns and adventure films. She worked with director John Ford and longtime friend John Wayne on numerous projects. She aspired to become an actress from a very young age, and she trained with the Rathmines Theatre Company from the age of 10 and at the Abbey Theatre from the age of 14. She was given a screen test which was deemed unsatisfactory, but Charles Lawton saw potential in her and arranged for her to co-star with him in Alfred Hitchcock's Jamaica Inn in 1939. She moved to Hollywood the same year to appear with him in the production of The Hunchback of Notre Dame and was given a contract by RKO Pictures. From there she went on to enjoy a long and highly successful career and acquired the nickname the Queen of Technicolor. She appeared in films such as How Green Was My Valley, her first collaboration with John Ford, The Black Swan with Tyrone Power, The Spanish Main, Sinbad the Sailor, the Christmas classic Miracle on 34th Street with John Payne and Natalie Wood, and Comanche Territory. She made her first film with John Wayne, the act with whom she's most closely associated, in Rio Grande in 1950, and this was followed by The Quiet Man, The Wings of Eagles, McClintock and Big Jake. Such was her strong chemistry with Wayne that many assumed they were married or in a relationship. In the 1960s, she increasingly turned to more motherly roles as she aged, appearing in films such as The Deadly Companions, The Parent Trap and The Rare Breed. She retired from the industry in 1971 but returned 20 years later to appear with John Candy in Only the Lonely. In the late 1970s, she helped run her third husband Charles F. Blair Jr.'s flying business in San Croix in the United States Virgin Islands and edited a magazine but later sold them to spend more time in Glengarriff in West Cork in Ireland. She was married 3 times and had one daughter, Bronwyn, with her second husband. Her autobiography, Tis Herself, published in 2004, became a New York Times bestseller. In 2009, The Guardian named her one of the best actors never to have received an Academy Award nomination. In November 2014, she was presented with an honorary Academy Award with the inscription, to Morin Ohara, one of Hollywood's brightest stars, whose inspiring performances glowed with passion, warmth and strength. In 1978, she was diagnosed with uterine cancer, which had to be removed with an operation. She was greatly affected by John Wayne's cancer during this period, and Wayne reportedly wept on the phone when she informed him that her own cancer had been given the all clear. She was instrumental in Wayne being given a special medal shortly before his death the following year. She argued that John Wayne is not just an actor, John Wayne is the United States of America, and personally selected the portrait of him to go on it. After Wayne's death in June 1979, she fell into deep depression and took several years to recover. In September 2012, she flew to the United States after receiving doctor's permission to fly and moved in with her grandson in Idaho. In her last year, she suffered from type 2 diabetes and short-term memory loss. On the 24th to the 25th of May 2013, she made a public appearance at the 2013 John Wayne Birthday Tribute to Morin Ohara celebration in Winterset, Iowa. The occasion was groundbreaking for the new John Wayne Birthplace Museum. The festivities included an official proclamation from Iowa Governor Terry Branstad, declaring the 25th of May 2013 as Morin Ohara Day in Iowa. On the 24th of October 2015, she died of natural causes in her sleep at her home in Boise, Idaho. She was 95 years old, and her remains were buried at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia, next to her late husband Charles Blair. Peggy Cummins was an Irish actress appearing in several films between 1940 and 1961. Her best-known role was that of trigger-happy bank robber Annie Laurie Starr in the film Gun Crazy. In December 1925, Cummins was born under the name of Augusta Margaret Diane Fuller in Prestatyn, Wales. Her parents were an Irish couple from Dublin who visited Prestatyn during their vacation. They were reportedly seeking shelter from a storm there. She was mostly raised and educated in Killiney, Dublin, and as a child she attended the Abbey School of Ballet in Dublin. She was eventually spotted there and chosen for a non-speaking role in a performance of the play The Duchess of Malfi by John Webster. She played one of the play's murdered children, and she was, in her words, only seen in silhouette. This was her theatrical debut. Being only 15 years old during her film debut's production, Cummins was by agreement limited to working 5 hours a day and only under the supervision of a governess. The film was a success and helped Cummins being cast in supporting roles in subsequent films, and meanwhile she continued her theatrical career. In 1944, Cummins played notable roles in the comedy film English Without Tears and the World War II-themed drama Welcome, Mr. Washington. In 1945, Darrell F. Zanuck, head of 20th Century Fox, brought Cummins to Hollywood, and she was considered for roles in both Clooney Brown and Forever Amber, but was rejected for being too young. Her first leading role in an American film was playing the blackmailer Belle Adair, or Rose Linton, in the film noir Moss Rose. The film was praised by the press but was a box office flop. Zanuck claimed that the losses from the film amounted to $1,300,000. She subsequently appeared in a handful of American films. She played Eleanor Apley, daughter of an upper-class Bostonian family, in the romantic comedy The Late George Apley. She played Dora Winters, an escaped prisoner's love interest, in the thriller Escape. She played Carey Greenway, the love interest of a Wyoming-based horse owner, in Green Grass of Wyoming. She then returned to the United Kingdom to have a role in the romance film That Dangerous Age, about a neglected wife who finds romance with a lover. She played a supporting role to the film's female lead, Myrna Loy. She returned to the United States to play a femme fatale role as bank robber Annie Laurie Starr in the film Gun Crazy. This film was released by the film studio United Artists, and this was Cummins' last appearance in a film shot in the United States. In retrospect, the film has been considered culturally significant and chosen for preservation by the Library of Congress. In the rest of the 1950s, Cummins mainly worked in British films. Among her best-known roles in this period was the role of female lead Joanna Harrington in the cult-themed horror movie Night of the Demon. Receiving modest praise in its original release, their film has since been evaluated one of the gems of the horror genre. In the early 1960s, Cummins only appeared in comedies, and they included the divorce-themed farce Your Money or Your Wife, the crime comedy Dentist in the Chair, and the veterinarian-themed comedy In the Doghouse. In the Doghouse was Cummins' last film appearance, as she largely retired from acting at the age of 36. Her few subsequent appearances were guest star roles in television. In December 2017, Cummins suffered a stroke and died in London, where she had spent her last years. She died 11 days following her 92nd birthday. Ray McAnally was born the 30th of March 1926 in Buncrana, a seaside town located on the Inishowen Peninsula of County Donegal, and he was brought up in the nearby town of Moville from the age of 3. The son of a bank manager, he was educated at St Eunan's College in Letterkenny, where he wrote, produced and staged a musical called Madam Screwball at the age of 16. He entered Maynooth Seminary at the age of 18, but left after a short time, having decided that the priesthood was not his vocation. He joined the Abbey Theatre in 1947, where he met and married actress Ronnie Masterson. He was the recipient of 3 BAFTA awards in the late 1980s, 2 BAFTA Film Awards for Best Supporting Actor for The Mission in 1986 and My Left Foot in 1989, and a BAFTA Television Award for Best Actor for A Very British Coup in 1989. On television, he was a familiar face, often in glossy thriller series like The Avengers, Man in a Suitcase and Strange Report. In 1968, he took the title role in Spindo, a series charting the return to power of an English gangster, Alex Spindo, after a 5-year prison term. This was a spin-off from another series, The Fellows, of 1967, in which several episodes McAnally had appeared as a Spindoed character. He could render English accents very convincingly. In 1976, he appeared in the Granada television daytime series Crown Court. He played the character of Robert Scard, a confidence trickster found guilty of fraud. In 1988, a century after the Whitechapel murders, he appeared in the television miniseries Jack the Ripper. McAnally played the part of Sir William Gull, physician in ordinary to Queen Victoria, and whom the producers of the programme had unmasked as the killer. He regularly acted in the Abbey Theatre and at Irish festivals, but in the last decade of life he achieved award-winning notice on TV and films. McAnally died suddenly of a heart attack on the 15th of June 1989, aged 63, at his home which he shared with Irish actress Britta Smith. He remained married to actress Ronnie Masterson until his death, although they lived apart. He received a posthumous BAFTA Film Award for Best Supporting Actor for his last film, In My Left Foot, in 1990. At the time of his death, he was due to play Bull McCabe in Jim Sheridan's film The Field. The part eventually went to Richard Harris, who received an Oscar nomination for his performance. McAnally had also been cast in the lead role of First and Last, a drama about a man who walked from Land's End to John O'Groats. Almost a third of the filming had been completed when he died, but the whole play had to be refilmed with Joss Ackland taking the role instead. McAnally had 4 children, Connor, Angus, Moira and Neve. Connor is a producer based in Texas, and Angus is a television and radio presenter-producer in Ireland. And now the answer to the question I posed at the beginning of the video. The reason there is a statue to a legendary English king in Limerick is because the statue is actually a tribute to Richard Harris in his role as King Arthur in the musical Camelot. Richard St John Harris was born on the 1st of October 1930 in Limerick to a farming family, one of 9 children. He attended Crescent College, a Jesuit school, and was an excellent rugby player with a strong passion for literature. Unfortunately, a bout of tuberculosis as a teenager ended his aspirations to a rugby career, but he became fascinated with the theatre and skipped a local dance one night to attend a performance of Henry IV. He was hooked and went on to learn his craft at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, then spent several years in stage productions. He debuted on screen in Shake Hands with the Devil, 1959, and quickly scored regular film work in films including The Wreck of the Mary Dear, The Night Fighters, and a good role as a frustrated Australian bomber pilot in The Guns of Navarone. However, his breakthrough performance was as a quintessential angry young man in the sensational drama This Sporting Life, which won him an Oscar nomination. He then appeared in the World War II commando tale The Heroes of Telemark and in the Sam Peckinpah-directed western Major Dundee. He next showed up in Hawaii and played King Arthur in Camelot, an adaptation of the famous Broadway play. Other performances followed, among them a role as a reluctant police informer in The Molly Maguires, alongside Sir Sean Connery. Harris took the lead role in the violent western A Man Called Horse, which became something of a cult film and spawned 2 sequels. As the 70s progressed, Harris continued to appear regularly on screen. His credits during this period included directing himself as an ageing soccer player in The Hero, the western The Deadly Trackers, the big-budget disaster film Juggernaut 74, and with Connery again in Robin and Marion. He also appeared in Gulliver's Travels and had a part in both Jaws and Orca in 1977, and a nice turn as an ill-fated mercenary with Richard Burton and Roger Moore in the popular action film The Wild Geese in 1978. The 1980s kicked off with him appearing in Bo Derek Vanity production Tarzan the Ape Man, and the remainder of the decade had him appearing in some rather forgettable productions. However, the luck of the Irish was once again to shine on Harris's career, and he scored rave reviews and another Oscar nomination for The Field in 1990. He then locked horns with Harrison Ford as an IRA sympathiser in Patriot Games and got one of his best roles as gunfighter English Bob in the Clint Eastwood western Unforgiven. He was firmly back on vogue and rewarded his fans with more wonderful performances in Wrestling Ernest Hemingway, Cry the Beloved Country, The Great Kandinsky, and This is the Sea. Further fortune came his way with a strong performance in the blockbuster Gladiator, and last but not least, he became known to an entirely new generation of film fans as Albus Dumbledore in the mega-successful Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in 2001, and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets 2002. A leading man of prodigious talents, Peter O'Toole was born and raised in Leeds, Yorkshire, England, the son of Constance Jane Elliott, a Scottish nurse, and Patrick Joseph O'Toole, an Irish metal plater, football player and racehorse bookmaker. On leaving school, he decided to become a journalist, beginning as a newspaper copy boy. Although he succeeded in becoming a reporter, he discovered the theatre and made his stage debut at the age of 17. He served as a radio man in the Royal Navy for 2 years, then attended the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, where his classmates included Albert Finney, Alan Bates and Richard Harris. He spent several years on stage at the Bristol Old Vic, then made an inconspicuous film debut in the Disney classic Kidnapped. In 1962, he was chosen by David Lean to play T.E. Lawrence in Lean's epic drama Lawrence of Arabia. The role made O'Toole an international superstar and received him his first Academy Award nomination for Best Actor in a Leading Role. Noel Coward said of his portrayal, "If he had been any prettier, it would have been Florence of Arabia." He continued successfully in artistically rich films as well as less artistic but commercially rewarding projects. He received Academy Award nominations, but not an Oscar, for 7 different films. However, medical problems, originally thought to have been brought on by his drinking, which turned out to be stomach cancer, threatened to destroy his career and life in the 1970s. He survived by giving up alcohol and, after serious medical treatment, returned to films with triumphant performances in The Stuntman in 1980 and My Favourite Year in 1982. His youthful beauty lost to time and lifestyle, O'Toole found meaningful roles increasingly difficult to come by, though he remained one of the greatest actors of his generation. He had 2 daughters, Pat and Kate O'Toole, from his marriage to actress Sian Phillips. He also had a son, Lorcan O'Toole, by model Karen Brown. Peter O'Toole died in London on the 14th of December 2013, aged 81. Fula Flanigan was born on the 10th of December 1941 and raised in Dublin, the daughter of Rosanna and Terence Niall Flanigan. Her father was an Irish Army officer and communist who had fought in the international brigades in the Spanish Civil War against Franco's nationalists. Although her parents were not Irish speakers, they wanted Fionnuala and her 4 siblings to learn the Irish language, so she grew up speaking English and Irish fluently. She trained extensively at the Abbey Theatre in Dublin and travelled throughout Europe before settling in Los Angeles in early 1968. She made her acting debut as the lead role of Myra in Mairead Nagrada's Irish language play On Triol at the Damer Theatre in 1964. She continued the role in the radio version and rose to national prominence in the television and now RTE television adaptation, for which she won the 1965 Jacobs Award for outstanding performance. With her portrayal of Gertie McDowell in this film version of Ulysses of 1967, she established herself as one of the foremost interpreters of James Joyce. She made her Broadway debut in Brenda Friel's Lovers of 1968, then appeared in The Incomparable Max 1971, and such Joycean theatrical projects as Ulysses in Nighttown as Molly Bloom, and James Joyce's Women, 1977, toured through to 1979. A one-woman show written by Flanigan and directed for the stage by Burgess Meredith, who famously played the Penguin in the original Batman series of the 60s. It was subsequently filmed in 1983, with Flanigan both producing and playing all 6 main female roles, Joyce's wife Nora Barnacle, as well as fictional characters Molly Bloom, Gertie McDowell, etc. Flanigan is known for her roles in the films James Joyce's Women, Some Mother's Son, Waking Ned, The Others, Four Brothers, Yes Man, The Guard, and Song of the Sea. She's also known for her recurring role as Eloise Hawking in the series Lost, which ran from 2007 to 2010. Notable stage productions she has performed in include Ulysses in Nighttown and The Ferryman, both of which earned her Tony Award nominations for Best Featured Actress in a Play. A familiar presence in American television, Flanigan has appeared in several made-for-TV movies, including The Legend of Lizzie Borden, starring Elizabeth Montgomery of Bewitched fame, Mary White, the Star Wars spin-off series, The Ewok Adventure, and A Winner Never Quits. She won an Emmy Award for her performance as Clotilda in the 1976 network miniseries Rich Man, Poor Man. She made guest appearances in 3 of the Star Trek series: Star Trek Deep Space Nine in episode Dax, playing Anina Tandro, Star Trek The Next Generation in episode Inheritance, in which she played Juliana Soong, Data's mother, and Star Trek Enterprise in episode Fallen Hero, playing the Vulcan ambassador Vilar. She appeared in television series and stage productions, including the Emmy-nominated miniseries Revelations, starring Bill Pullman and Natasha McElhone. From 2006 to 2008, she played Rose Caffey, the matriarch of an Irish-American Rhode Island family, on the Showtime drama Brotherhood. Sinead Cusack was born Jane Moira Cusack in Dalkey, County Dublin, the daughter of actress Maureen Cusack and actor Cyril Cusack, who we met earlier in this list. She's a sister of actresses Saoirse Cusack, Niamh Cusack, and half-sister to Catherine Cusack. Her first acting roles were at the Abbey Theatre in Dublin, and in 1975 she moved to London and joined the Royal Shakespeare Company, starring in London Assurance in the West End. Her work with the RSC continued with an award-winning performance as Celia in As You Like It, which included the Clarence Derwent Award and her first Olivier Award nomination. She secured a second Olivier Award nomination for her performance in The Maid's Tragedy by Francis Beaumont and John Fletcher in 1981, followed 2 years later with a third Olivier Award nomination as Kate in The Taming of the Shrew. She has won the Critics' Circle and Evening Standard Awards for her performance in Sebastian Barry's Our Lady of Sligo. She has received 2 Tony Award nominations, one for Best Leading Actress in Much Ado About Nothing from 1980. She made her Broadway debut in 1984, performing in repertory with the Royal Shakespeare Company. Starring opposite Derek Jacobi, she played Roxanne in Anthony Burgess's translation of Edmond Rostand's Cyrano de Bergerac, and Beatrice in William Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, directed by Terry Hands. She starred with Peter Sellers in the film Hoffman in 1970, and she guest starred in an episode of The Persuaders, a TV series starring Tony Curtis and Roger Moore, as Jenny Lindley, a wealthy heiress who suspects that a man claiming to be her dead brother is in fact an imposter. In 1975, she made 3 appearances in the TV series Quiller as the character Roz. She and her husband Jeremy Irons appeared together in the film Waterland and in a television adaptation of Christopher Hampton's Tales from Hollywood, both in 1992, and again in Bernardo Bertolucci's Stealing Beauty in 1996. Further film work includes Passion of Mind, V for Vendetta, and Eastern Promises, a thriller directed by David Cronenberg. Further starring roles include lead roles in Oliver's Travels, Have Your Cake and Eat It from 1997, for which she won the RTS Award for Best Actress, and Frank McGuinness's The Hen House for BBC Television. She starred in the title role of George du Maurier's Trilby in an adaptation for the BBC's Play of the Month, with Alan Bedell as Svengali. She also starred as Mrs. Thornton in the BBC miniseries North and South from the novel by Elizabeth Gaskell. She starred in the BBC sitcom Home Again and appeared in the TV series Camelot, which ran for one season. Cusack had featured roles in the miniseries The Deep and the series Marcella, an 8-episode murder mystery. Brenda Friel was born in Dublin and gained experience in Irish theatre and with the National Theatre, the Royal Shakespeare Company and the Court Theatre Company in Britain. She received great acclaim for her Oscar-winning supporting performance as the determined mother of a son afflicted with cerebral palsy in My Left Foot from 1989. Venturing to Hollywood in the 1990s, she played a homeless woman befriended by Kid on the Loose, Macaulay Culkin, in the sequel Home Alone 2, Lost in New York from 1992, and followed up with a more zany mother role in the little scene So I Married an Axe Murderer. Having acted on English TV on the BBC series Casualty, Friel began conquering US TV with roles in the American Playhouse presentation Lethal Innocence and the miniseries Alexander Graham Bell, The Sound and the Silence. She offered memorable support as Albert Finney's exasperated sister in A Man of No Importance, and appeared in support of Robin Wright in Moll Flanders, and as Matthew McConaughey's secretary in A Time to Kill. Stephen Ray was born in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and attended Belfast High School and the Queen's University, where he studied English. He later trained at the Abbey Theatre School in Dublin, and in the 1970s he acted in the Focus Company in Dublin with the talented Gabriel Byrne and Colin Meaney. After several stage, television and film appearances, he came to international success with his performance in The Crying Game of 1992. He was nominated for an Oscar for Best Actor. Ray was hired to speak the words of Gerry Adams when Sinn Féin was under a 1988 to 94 broadcasting ban. In April 2012, Ray read James Joyce's short story The Dead on RTÉ Radio 1. He also narrated for the BBC Radio 4 production of Ulysses for Bloomsday, 16th of June 2012. He also played Leopold Bloom in the movie Bloom and Ned Broy in the Irish historical biopic Michael Collins. Sir Michael Gambon was born in Cabra, Dublin, and after joining the National Theatre under the artistic directorship of Sir Laurence Olivier, Gambon went on to appear in a number of leading roles in plays written by Alan Ayckbourn. His career was catapulted in 1980 when he took the lead role in John Dexter's production of Galileo. Gambon made his film debut in Othello in 1965. His other notable films include The Cook, the Thief, His Wife and Her Lover, The Wings of the Dove, The Insider, Gosford Park, Amazing Grace, The King's Speech, Quartet and Victoria and Abdul. He also acted in the Wes Anderson films The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou and Fantastic Mr. Fox. He gained wider recognition through his role of Albus Dumbledore in the Harry Potter film series from 2004 to 2011, replacing Richard Harris following his death in 2002. For his work on television, he received 4 BAFTA awards for The Singing Detective, Wives and Daughters, Longitude and Perfect Strangers. He also received 2 Primetime Emmy Award nominations for Path to War and Emma. Gambon's other notable projects include Cranford and The Casual Vacancy. In 2017, he received the Irish Film and Television Academy Lifetime Achievement Award. Kieran Hines was born in Belfast, Northern Ireland on the 9th of February 1953. He was one of 5 children and the only son. His father was a doctor who hoped to have Kieran following his footsteps, but that was not to be. It was his mother Moya, an amateur actress, who was a real influence behind his decision to become an actor. Though he did enrol in law at Queen's University of Belfast, he left that in order to train in acting at RADA. He began his stage career at the Glasgow Citizens Theatre as a pantomime horse in the production of Cinderella. Staying with the company for several years, he starred in a number of productions, including playing the lead roles in Arsenic and Old Lace and Faust. Hines' film career began in 1981 in the movie Excalibur, which boasted a cast of rich and talented actors including Liam Neeson, Gabriel Byrne and Patrick Stewart. In between his movie work, he's amassed a large number of television credits, playing such classic characters as Mr. Rochester in Jane Eyre and Captain Wentworth in Persuasion, has increased his popularity and most definitely given him much increased recognition. As for his personal life, you won't be likely to see his name in the weekly tabloids, as he likes to keep his private life private. It is known that he is in a long-term committed relationship with a French-Vietnamese actress named Helen Pattereau, and they have a daughter together and live in Paris. He is in very high demand, and his reputation as a quality professional actor is sure to keep him busy for as long as he chooses. Pierce Brosnan was born on the 16th of May 1953 in Drogheda, County Louth. He was the 5th actor to play James Bond in the Bond film series, starring in 4 films from 1995 to 2002: GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, and Die Another Day. He graduated from the Drama Centre in 1975 and began working as an acting assistant stage manager at the York Theatre Royal, making his acting debut in Wait Until Dark. Within 6 months, he was selected by the playwright Tennessee Williams to play the role of McCabe in the British premiere of The Red Devil Battery Sign. His performance caused a stir in London, and he still has a telegram sent by Williams stating only, "Thank God for you, my dear boy." Brosnan continued his career making brief appearances in films such as The Long Good Friday of 1980 and The Mirror Cracked, also 1980, as well as early television performances in The Professionals, Murphy's Stroke and Play for Today. He became a television star in the United States with his leading role in the popular miniseries Manions of America. He followed this in 1982 with the BBC's 9-part miniseries Nancy Astor, which aired in America on Masterpiece Theatre, that dramatised the life of Lady Astor, the first woman to sit in the British Parliament. His portrayal of Robert Gould Shaw II garnered him a 1985 Golden Globe Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. In 1982, he moved to Southern California and rose in popularity in the United States, playing the title role in the NBC romantic, often comedic detective series Remington Steele. The Washington Post noted that same year that Brosnan could make it as a young James Bond. After Remington Steele ended in 1987, he went on to appear in, among other projects, The Fourth Protocol, a Cold War thriller in which he starred alongside Michael Caine, The Deceivers, the miniseries James Clavell's Noble House, both 1988, and The Lawn Mower Man, 1992. In 1993, he played a supporting role in the comedy film Mrs. Doubtfire. Brosnan first met James Bond film producer Albert R. Broccoli on the sets of For Your Eyes Only, as his first wife, Cassandra Harris, had been cast as Countess Lyle von Schlaff, mistress to Milos Colombo. Broccoli said, "If he can act, he's my guy," to inherit the role of Bond from Roger Moore. Colm J. Meaney was born in Finglas, Dublin on the 30th of May 1953 and began studying acting at the age of 14, and he entered the Abbey Theatre School of Acting after secondary school. He became a member of the Irish National Theatre and worked for the next 8 years in England, touring with several theatre companies, including the 784 Theatre Group founded by John McGrath. He's best known to international audiences for playing Miles O'Brien in Star Trek The Next Generation, 1987 to 1994, and Star Trek Deep Space Nine, 1993 to 1999. He has guest starred on many TV shows including Law and Order and The Simpsons, and starred as Thomas C. Durant on Hell on Wheels, which ran from 2011 to 2016. He has a career in films, appearing in Layer Cake, The Damned United, all three film adaptations of Roddy Doyle's The Barrytown trilogy, and in Get Him to the Greek. He portrayed a principal character in the film The Englishman who went up a hill but came down a mountain. And in 2017, Meany won the Best Actor IFTA for his portrayal of Irish politician Martin McGuinness in the film The Journey. He played Colin O'Hara in the 1994 miniseries Scarlet, the sequel to Gone with the Wind. He has played a minor recurring role as Cohen, leader of the Jedi, on the series Stargate Atlantis. He appeared in the film Die Hard 2, playing the pilot of the plane Windsor 114 that was later crashed by Colonel Stewart. He was the only actor to appear in all three film adaptations of Roddy Doyle's The Barrytown trilogy as the father of the Rabbits family. Meany starred in British comedy film Three and Out, released in the UK in April 2008. In 2009, Meany co-starred with Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx in Law Abiding Citizen, playing Detective Dunnigan. In March 2009, Meany voiced an Irish bartender on the St. Patrick's Day episode of The Simpsons, In the Name of the Grandfather. In the same month, the film The Damned United was released, a mostly fictional retelling of the 44-day period in which Brian Clough was manager of Leeds United Football Club. Meany played former Leeds manager Don Revie. Gabriel Byrne was the eldest of 6 children, born to a family in Dublin, and he worked in archaeology after he left college, but maintained his love of the Irish language, eventually writing Draocht, that's magic, the first drama in Irish on Ireland's national Irish television station, TG4, in 1996. He began acting when he was 29, at first on stage at the Focus Theatre and the Abbey Theatre in Dublin, later joining the Royal Court Theatre and the Royal National Theatre in London. He came to prominence in the final season of the Irish television show The Reardons, later starring in the spin-off series Bracken. He made his film debut in 1981 as Lord Uther Pendragon in John Boorman's King Arthur epic Excalibur. He was featured as therapist Dr. Paul Weston in the critically acclaimed HBO series In Treatment 2008. In his return to theatre in 2008, he appeared as King Arthur in Lerner and Loewe's Camelot with the New York Philharmonic, which was featured in a PBS broadcast in the Live from Lincoln Center series in May of 2008. Byrne did not visit America until he was 37. In 1988, he married actress Ellen Barkin, with whom he has 2 children. The couple separated amicably in 1993 and divorced in 1999. He resides in Brooklyn, New York. Liam Neeson, OBE, was born in Ballymena, County Antrim, on the 7th of June 1952. His mother was born and raised in Waterford in the southeast of Ireland. In 1971, he joined a physics and computer science course at Queen's University Belfast, before leaving to work for the Guinness Brewery. In 1976, Neeson joined the Lyric Players Theatre in Belfast for 2 years, and in 1980, filmmaker John Bowman saw him on stage as Lenny Small in Of Mice and Men, and offered him the role of Sir Gawain in the Arthurian film Excalibur. After the role, Neeson moved to London, where he continued working on stage and in small-budget films and television. He lived with actress Helen Mirren, whom he met working on Excalibur. His early film roles include Excalibur, The Bounty, The Mission, The Deadpool, and Husbands and Wives. He rose to prominence portraying Oskar Schindler in Steven Spielberg's Holocaust drama Schindler's List in 1993, for which he earned an Academy Award for Best Actor nomination. Steven Spielberg offered him the role of Oskar Schindler in his Holocaust film Schindler's List, after seeing him in Anna Christie on Broadway. Kevin Costner, Mel Gibson and Warren Beatty all expressed interest in the part. Beatty even auditioned, but Neeson was cast in December 1992 after auditioning for the role. Neeson's critically acclaimed performance earned him a nomination for a Best Actor Oscar and helped the film earn Best Picture of 1993. He also received BAFTA and Golden Globe nominations for the performance. He soon became an in-demand leading actor, and he followed by starring in Nell, Rob Roy and Michael Collins. He took blockbuster roles portraying Qui-Gon Jinn in Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace, Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins, and Aslan in the Chronicles of Narnia trilogy. He also starred in Martin Scorsese's Gangs of New York and romantic comedy Love Actually and the drama Kinsey. Beginning in 2009, Neeson cemented himself as an action star with the action thriller series Taken. The A-Team, The Grey, Wrath of the Titans and A Walk Among the Tombstones. He's known for his collaborations in the genre with director Jean Collet-Serra and starred in 4 of his films: Unknown, Non-Stop, Run All Night and The Commuter. He also starred in Martin Scorsese's religious epic Silence, the fantasy drama A Monster Calls, Steve McQueen's heist drama Widows, the Coen brothers' western The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, and the romantic drama Ordinary Love. Neeson narrated the 2001 documentaries Journey into Amazing Caves, a short film about 2 scientists who travel around the world to search for material for potential cures, and The Endurance, Shackleton's legendary Antarctic adventure. The latter won awards at a number of film festivals, including Best Documentary from both the Chicago Film Critics Association and the National Board of Review. In 2010, Neeson played Zeus in the remake of the 1981 film Clash of the Titans. The film was a huge box office hit, grossing $475 million worldwide. Neeson also starred in Atom Egoyan's erotic thriller Chloe, theatrically released by Sony Pictures Classics on the 26th of March 2010. Chloe had enjoyed commercial success and became the Canadian director's biggest moneymaker ever. Brendan Gleeson, born the 29th of March 1955, is the recipient of 3 IFTA Awards and a Primetime Emmy Award, and has been nominated twice for a BAFTA Award, 5 times for a Golden Globe Award and once for an Academy Award. He is the father of actors Domhnall Gleeson and Brian Gleeson, and is best known for his performance as Alistair Moody in the Harry Potter films. He's also known for his supporting roles in films such as Braveheart, Michael Collins, 28 Days Later, Gangs of New York, Cold Mountain, Troy, Suffragette, Paddington 2, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, and The Tragedy of Macbeth. He's also known for his leading roles in films such as The General, In Bruges, The Guard, Calvary, Frankie, and The Banshees of Inisherin. He received a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for the lattermost film. He won a Primetime Emmy Award in 2009 for his portrayal of Winston Churchill in the television film Into the Storm. He also received a Golden Globe Award nomination for his performance as Donald Trump in the Showtime series The Comey Rule. From 2017 to 2019, he starred in the crime series Mr. Mercedes, and he received an Emmy Award nomination for Stephen Frears' Sundance TV series State of the Union. Fiona Shaw CBE was born Fiona Mary Wilson on the 10th of July 1958 in Cove, County Cork, and studied at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA, in London, graduating in 1982 with an acting RADA diploma. She's known for extensive work with the Royal Shakespeare Company at the National Theatre, as well as in film and television. She was made an honorary Commander of the Order of the British Empire by Queen Elizabeth II in 2001. In film, she will be best known to younger audiences as Petunia Dursley in the Harry Potter film series. Other notable film roles include Electra, The Good Person of Szechuan, My Left Foot, Hedda Gabler, Persuasion, Jane Eyre, The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, Medea, The Tree of Life, Colette, Ammonite and Enola Holmes. Her television roles include Hedda Hopper in the HBO film RKO 281, and fans of the vampire genre will know her as Marnie Stonebrook in the HBO series True Blood. She played Carolyn Martins in the BBC series Killing Eve, for which she received the 2019 BAFTA Television Award for Best Supporting Actress, as well as 2 Primetime Emmy Award nominations for her role as a counsellor in Fleabag. She starred in the BBC One series Baptiste and the Disney Plus series Andor. Sir Kenneth Charles Branagh was born in Belfast on the 10th of December 1960, and in the early 1970s, at the age of 9, he moved with his family to England to escape the Troubles. They settled in Berkshire, where Branagh grew up in Reading. He trained at London's Royal Academy of Dramatic Art and has served as its president since 2015. His accolades include an Academy Award, 4 BAFTAs, 2 Emmy Awards, a Golden Globe Award, and an Olivier Award. He was appointed a Knight Bachelor in the 2012 birthday honours and was given Freedom of the City in his native Belfast in 2018. He has directed and starred in several film adaptations of William Shakespeare's plays, including Henry V, Much Ado About Nothing, Othello, Hamlet, and As You Like It. He was nominated for Academy Awards for Best Actor and Best Director for Henry V, and Best Adapted Screenplay for Hamlet. He directed Swan Song in 1992, which earned a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Live-Action Short Film. He also directed Peter's Friends from 1992, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, 1994, Thor, 2011, and Cinderella, 2015. For his semi-autobiographical film Belfast from 2021. He was nominated for the Academy Awards for Best Picture and Best Director and won Best Original Screenplay. Branagh directed and starred as Hercule Poirot in Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile, and A Haunting in Venice. He has also acted in Celebrity, Wild Wild West, The Road to El Dorado, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Rabbit's Roof Fence, and Valkyrie. His portrayal of Laurence Olivier in My Week with Marilyn earned him a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. He played supporting roles in Christopher Nolan's films Dunkirk, Tenet, and Oppenheimer. He has starred in the BBC One series Fortunes of War from 1987, the Channel 4 series Shackleton from 2002, and BBC One series Wallander from 2008 to 2016. He received the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Limited Series or Movie, and an International Emmy Award for Best Actor for his portrayal of SS leader Reinhard Heydrich in the HBO film Conspiracy. He also received a Primetime Emmy Award and a Golden Globe Award nomination for his role as Franklin D. Roosevelt in the television film Warm Springs. Branagh achieved early success in his native Northern Ireland for his role as Billy, the title character in the BBC's Play for Today trilogy, known as the Billy Plays, written by Graham Reed and set in Belfast. He received acclaim in the UK for his stage performances, first winning the 1982 Sweat Award for Best Newcomer for his role as Judd in Julian Mitchell's Another Country after leaving RADA. Branagh was part of the new wave of actors to emerge from the Academy. In 1984, he appeared in the Royal Shakespeare Company production of Henry V, directed by Adrian Noble. The production played to sold-out audiences, especially at the Barbican in the City of London. It was this production that he adapted for the film version of the play in 1989. He and David Parfitt founded the Renaissance Company. In 1987, Branagh found his first leading film role as James Moon in the British film adaptation of J.L. Carr's book A Month in the Country. Here he plays a homosexual ex-army officer who, following the war, has taken on a job to excavate a burial in the churchyard. Instead, he spends most of his time looking for Saxon treasures. It's set in a 1920s rural Yorkshire village where he meets Colin Firth, also in his first major role. Branagh starred in numerous films and stage plays with Emma Thompson. A year later, in 1989, he co-starred with Emma Thompson in the Renaissance Company's stage revival of Look Back in Anger. Judi Dench directed both the theatre and television productions, presented first in Belfast, then at the London Coliseum and Lyric Theatre. Notable non-Shakespeare films in which Branagh has acted in and directed include the neo-noir romantic thriller Dead Again, starring Branagh, Emma Thompson, Andy Garcia and Derek Jacobi. The film premiered at the Berlin International Film Festival, where it competed for the Golden Bear and received critical acclaim. The following year he directed the British comedy drama film Peter's Friends, with a cast including former student friends Emma Thompson, Hugh Laurie, Tony Slattery and Stephen Fry, as well as Imelda Staunton and Rita Rudner. The film received positive reviews, with critics comparing it favourably as a British version of The Big Chill. The film earned 2 Evening Standard British Film Awards for Branagh and Thompson. He's known for his film adaptations of William Shakespeare, beginning with Henry V in 1989, returned with Shakespeare's romantic comedy Much Ado About Nothing. Branagh had a career misstep with his adaptation of the horror film Mary Shelley's Frankenstein in 1994. The film starred Branagh, Robert De Niro, Helena Bonham Carter, Tom Hulce and Ian Holm. It premiered at the London Film Festival, where it received negative reviews. He then directed the minor British romantic comedy In the Bleak Midwinter to positive reviews. Branagh returned to directing in the acclaimed adaptation of Hamlet in 1996. Critics have theorised it might be the greatest film adaptation of Hamlet of all time. The film is noted for its epic scale and cast, and the film ran 4 hours and was shot completely in 70mm film. The cast includes Branagh, Kate Winslet, Derek Jacobi, Julie Christie and Rufus Sewell. Post-Hamlet, Branagh took a break from directing, choosing to act in films directed by amateur directors. He starred in Robert Altman's legal thriller, The Gingerbread Man. The following year he starred in the western film Wild Wild West, opposite Will Smith, Kevin Kline and Salma Hayek, which received negative reviews. He found commercial and critical failure with Love's Labour's Lost, which paused his directorial career. That same year he voiced Miguel in the DreamWorks animated film The Road to El Dorado, alongside Kevin Kline. The film received mixed reviews but has since gained a cult following. The following year he acted in the HBO film Conspiracy, portraying SS Obergruppenführer Reinhard Heydrich. The film is a depiction of the Wannsee Conference, where Nazi officials decided on the final solution. Branagh acted alongside Colin Farrell and Stanley Tucci. He earned critical acclaim for his performance, as well as a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a limited or anthology series or movie. In 2002, he played A.O. Neville in the drama film Rabbit Proof Fence, and portrayed a humorous role as Professor Gilderoy Lockhart in the film adaptation of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. He also portrayed Sir Ernest Shackleton in the Channel 4 television film Shackleton. The film is a dramatisation of the 1914 Imperial Transantarctic Expedition's battle for survival, for which he was nominated for a BAFTA Award and an Emmy. Branagh has been involved in several made-for-TV films. Among his most acclaimed portrayals is that of US President Franklin D. Roosevelt in the film Warm Springs, for which he received a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a limited series or movie nomination. The film received 16 Emmy nominations, winning 5, including Outstanding Made-for-Television Movie. Branagh didn't win the award for his portrayal. In 2006, he directed the film version of As You Like It, starring Romola Garai, Bryce Dallas Howard and Kevin Kline. That same year, he also directed a film version of Mozart's opera The Magic Flute. He also directed the thriller Sleuth, a remake of the 1972 film starring Jude Law and Michael Caine. The film received mixed reviews, with critics praising the performances and noting Branagh's darker interpretation of the material. Branagh then took the role of Major General Henning von Tresckow in Valkyrie and played the minister Dormandy, a parody of PMG Tony Benn, in the film The Boat That Rocked. In 2011, Branagh directed Thor, a film based on the Marvel superhero. Thor, Branagh's return to big-budget directing, was released on the 6th of May 2011, and the film was a part of Phase 1 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It starred Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Tom Hiddleston and Anthony Hopkins. The film was a financial and critical success. Branagh participated in the 2012 Summer Olympics opening ceremony, portraying Isambard Kingdom Brunel during the Industrial Revolution segment Pandemonium, where he performed one of Caliban's speeches from Shakespeare's The Tempest. In July 2013, he co-directed Macbeth at Manchester International Festival with Rob Ashford. With Branagh in the title role, Alex Kingston, River Song in Doctor Who, played Lady Macbeth, and Ray Fearon featured as Macduff. The final performance of the completely sold-out run was broadcast to cinemas on the 20th of July as part of National Theatre Live. He repeated his performance and directorial duties opposite Ashford and Kingston when the production moved to New York City's Park Avenue Armory in June 2014. In 2014, Branagh directed and acted in the action thriller Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, starring Chris Pine, Keira Knightley and Kevin Costner. The film was a box office hit but received mixed reviews from critics. The following year, he directed Disney's live-action adaptation of Cinderella, starring Lily James. He started his first collaboration with Christopher Nolan, portraying a Royal Navy commander in the World War II action thriller Dunkirk, based on the British military evacuation of the French city of Dunkirk in 1940. Branagh starred alongside Cillian Murphy, Mark Rylance and Tom Hardy. The film received critical acclaim and was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. That same year, Branagh directed and starred in a film adaptation of Agatha Christie's detective novel Murder on the Orient Express as Hercule Poirot. Production began in London in November 2016. Like Branagh's Hamlet in 1996, it is among the very few to use 65mm film cameras since 1970. In 2018, he directed the film All Is True, in which he starred as William Shakespeare. Branagh also directed the fantasy adventure film Artemis Fowl, which was released on Disney Plus in June 2020. In May 2019, Branagh was cast in Christopher Nolan's Tenet, in which he portrayed the villain Andrei Sator and was praised for his performance. Branagh acted alongside Robert Pattinson, John David Washington and Elizabeth Debicki. In 2021, Branagh directed the semi-autobiographical film Belfast, starring Jude Hill, Katrina Balfe, Jamie Dornan, Kieran Hines and Judi Dench. In the film, Branagh explores his childhood in Northern Ireland during a period of intense religious and political conflict. The film was shot in black and white with flickers of colour images. He reprised his role as Hercule Poirot in 2022's Death on the Nile, a sequel to Murder on the Orient Express, which he also directed. In October 2022, it was announced that Branagh would direct and star in a third Poirot film titled A Haunting in Venice, based on Christie's Halloween Party. Branagh reunited with Christopher Nolan, portraying the Danish physicist Niels Bohr in the war epic Oppenheimer in 2023. Maria Doyle Kennedy was born in Clontarf, Dublin on the 25th of September 1964. She's a singer and actress, and with a singing and acting career that has spanned more than 30 years. She began singing early in life and comes from a family that appreciates party pieces and the tradition of gathering friends together with singing. She's established herself as one of Ireland's most prolific artists and entertainers. As an actress, she is best known for her extensive television roles as Patsy in Father Ted, Catherine of Aragon in The Tudors, Vera Bates in Downton Abbey, Siobhan Sadler in Orphan Black, and Jocasta Cameron in Outlander. More recently, in 2022, she starred as the Scottish journalist Tanni Maria in the series Recipes for Love and Murder, set in the Karoo in South Africa and adapted for the screen from the book of the same name by Sally Andrew. Doyle Kennedy has also appeared in numerous films, including The Commitments, The Matchmaker, The General, Miss Julie, Tara Road, Albert Nobbs, Byzantium, Jupiter Ascending, Sing Street, and The Conjuring 2. After releasing music with the Black Velvet Band, Doyle Kennedy left the group to pursue a solo career in music. Her first experience with acting came in 1991 when she played Natalie Murphy in the musical comedy drama The Commitments. Director Alan Parker recruited her and other established singers for the film. In 2020, Doyle Kennedy was cast as Isla in the epic fantasy drama series The Wheel of Time, which is an adaptation of Robert Jordan's novel series of the same name. In 2021, she starred in Kin as Bridget Birdie Goggins. Kin tells the story of a fictional Dublin family embroiled in gangland war and speaks to the enduring unbreakable bonds of blood and family. Brona Gallagher was born April 1972 and is an Irish singer and actress from Northern Ireland. She had her first acting role in the 1989 television movie Dear Sarah. During her teenage years, she got involved in drama and music activities through school and joined a local amateur dramatics group called the Oak Grove Theatre Company. A former hairdresser, Gallagher's big break came when she starred as Bernie in The Commitments, followed by a supporting role in the BBC drama You, Me and Marley. She had small parts in Pulp Fiction and Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace. Other film appearances include Mary Riley, Divorcing Jack, Thunderpants, Skagerrak, Tristan and Isolde, Last Chance Harvey, Sherlock Holmes, and Grabbers. In 2009, she starred alongside a well-known cast on the MySpace Vertigo Films production Faint Heart and starred in the BBC Three comedy TV series Pramface in 2012. On television, she played the mother of young Nick in the BBC drama Nick Nickleby, and she played Tricia Meehan in The Field of Blood and Ada Mason in Agatha Christie's Poirot series 10 episode The Mystery of the Blue Train. Hugh O'Connor, born in April 1975, is an Irish actor, writer, director and photographer. His first film appearance was opposite Liam Neeson in the 1985 movie Lamb. He won a Young Artist Award in 1990 for his role in the Oscar-winning film My Left Foot, in which he portrayed the childhood days of Christy Brown, an Irishman born with cerebral palsy who can control only his left foot. The film was nominated for 5 Oscars, including Best Picture, and won 2. Daniel Day-Lewis for Best Actor and Brenda Friel for Best Supporting Actress. In his acceptance speech, Day-Lewis said he shared Christie's life with a remarkable young actor called Hugh O'Connor. He starred in Benjamin Ross's The Young Poisoner's Handbook, which won the Grand Jury Prize at the Sundance Film Festival in 1995. In 2007, he was nominated for Best Actor at the Irish Film and Television Awards for his performance as James van der Bexen in Tony Herbert's Speed Dating. His short film Corduroy was selected for competition as part of the Generation 14 Plus presentation at the 60th Berlinale in Berlin. It received the award for Best Fiction Experimental Film at the 2010 Clones Film Festival. Colin James Farrell was born on the 31st of May 1976. A leading man in blockbusters and independent films since the 2000s, he has received numerous accolades, including 2 Golden Globe Awards and a nomination for an Academy Award. He began acting in the BBC drama series Ballykiss Angel and had his film debut in the drama The War Zone in 1999. His first lead film role was in the war drama Tigerland, and he had his breakthrough with Steven Spielberg's science fiction film Minority Report. He took on high-profile roles as Bullseye in Daredevil and Alexander the Great in Alexander, and further starring roles in Michael Mann's Miami Vice and Woody Allen's Cassandra's Dream. He earned acclaim for playing a rookie hitman in Martin McDonagh's comedy In Bruges, winning a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor. He went on to play a variety of leading and character roles in the comedy Horrible Bosses, the science fiction film Total Recall, the black comedy Seven Psychopaths, the drama Saving Mr. Banks, the dark comedies The Lobster and The Killing of a Sacred Deer, the gothic thriller The Beguiled, and the fantasy film Dumbo. He also starred in the second series of HBO's thriller series True Detective. Farrell has also played Percival Graves in the fantasy film Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and Penguin in the superhero film The Batman. Also in 2022, Farrell gained acclaim for his roles in the science fiction drama After Yang, the survival film 13 Lives, and McDonagh's drama The Banshees of Inisherin. For playing a naive Irishman in the lattermost, he won the Volpe Cup for Best Actor and another Golden Globe, in addition to a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actor. Striking Irish actor Cillian Murphy was born in Douglas, Cork, and went on to study law at University College Cork, but dropped out after about a year. During this time, Murphy also pursued an interest in music, playing guitar in various bands. Upon leaving university, he joined the Corker Dorker Theatre Company in Cork and played the lead role in Disco Pigs, amongst other plays. Various film roles followed, including a film adaptation of Disco Pigs. However, his big film break came when he was cast in Danny Boyle's 28 Days Later in 2002, which became a surprise international hit. This performance earned him nominations for Best Newcomer at the Empire Awards and Breakthrough Male Performance at the MTV Movie Awards. He went on to supporting roles in high-profile films such as Cold Mountain and Girl with a Pearl Earring, and then was cast in two villain roles, Dr. Jonathan Crane, aka the Scarecrow, in Batman Begins, and Jackson Rippener in Red Eye. Although slight in nature for a villain, Murphy's piercing blue eyes helped to create creepy performances, and critics began to take notice. Later that year, he starred as Patrick Kitten Braden, an Irish transgender woman in search of her mother, in Neil Jordan's Breakfast on Pluto, a film adaptation of the Pat McCabe novel. Although the film was not a box office success, Murphy was nominated for Golden Globes for Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical, and he won Best Actor for the Irish Film and Television Academy Awards. The following year, Murphy starred in Ken Loach's The Wind That Shakes the Barley. The film was the most successful independent Irish film and won the Palme d'Or at the 2006 Cannes Film Festival. He continued to take roles in a number of independent films, and also reprised his role as a scarecrow in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Nolan is known for working with actors in multiple films and cast Murphy in Inception as Robert Fisher, the young heir of the multi-billion-dollar empire, who was a target of DiCaprio's dream team. His most well-known work is starring as Thomas Shelby in the British TV show Peaky Blinders, beginning in 2013. He continues to appear in high-profile films such as In Time, Red Lights, and The Dark Knight Rises, the final film in Nolan's Batman trilogy, as well as appearing in Inception and Dunkirk. He gained greater prominence for his role as Tommy Shelby in the BBC period drama series Peaky Blinders, and for starring in the horror sequel A Quiet Place Part 2. Murphy portrayed J. Robert Oppenheimer in Nolan's Oppenheimer, for which he won the Academy Award for Best Actor. He's married to Yvonne McGuinness, an artist, and the couple have two sons. Michael Fassbender was born in April 1977 and is a German and Irish actor, the son of an Irish mother, Adele, from Larne, and German father, Joseph Fassbender. According to law, on his mother's side of family, his mother is a great-grandniece of Michael Collins, an Irish leader during the War of Independence. When Fassbender was 2 years old, he moved with his parents to Killarney in Ireland, where his parents were to operate the West End House, a restaurant where his father also worked as a chef. His parents chose Killarney because they wanted their children to grow up in the countryside, in contrast to the industrial backdrop of their previous German residence. He's a recipient of various accolades, including nominations for 2 Academy Awards, 4 BAFTA Awards, and 3 Golden Globe Awards. Fassbender made his feature film debut in 300 in 2006. Early roles include in the HBO miniseries Band of Brothers and the Sky One fantasy drama Hex. He first came to prominence for his role as IRA volunteer Bobby Sands in Hunger of 2008, for which he won a British Independent Film Award. Subsequent roles include in Fish Tank, Inglourious Bastards, Jane Eyre, and A Dangerous Method. Fassbender gained mainstream success for his role as mutant Holocaust survivor Eric Lensherr, Magneto in X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse, and as androids David 8 and Walter 1 in Prometheus, and its sequel Alien Covenant. For his portrayal as a sex addict in Steve McQueen's drama Shame, he won the Volpe Cup for Best Actor and was nominated for Golden Globe and BAFTA Award. His role as slave owner Edwin Epps in 12 Years a Slave earned him a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. He also starred in The Counselor, Frank, Macbeth, and Steve Jobs. For portraying the title role in the latter, he was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actor. After a hiatus, he starred in the action thriller The Killer. Fassbender began competing in auto racing in 2017 with the Ferrari Challenge, and as of 2023, he races in the European Le Mans Series, driving for Proton competition. He has been married to Swedish actress Alicia Vikander since 2017. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers was born Jonathan Michael Myers on the 27th of July 1977 in Dublin, and then he and his family moved to County Cork when the actor was nearly a year old, and then at the age of 3 his father left the family, leaving his mother to care for John and his 3 younger brothers alone. Rhys-Meyers grew up with a tumultuous childhood and been permanently expelled from school at age 16. Happy to be out of school, he began spending time in a local pool hall where he was discovered by Hubbard Casting. The casting agents were talent spotting for the David Putnam production of War of the Buttons and asked Rhys-Meyers to appear for an audition. After 3 days of auditions, however, he did not get the role, and he gave up on his acting aspirations. Soon afterward, he received a call to audition for a national ad campaign for Knorr Soup, and though embarrassed by the attention from the ad, he soon found himself considered for a major film. His movie acting debut was a very small role in the film A Man of No Importance, where his simple cast credit is as First Young Man. His first lead role was in the film The Disappearance of Finbar in 1996. During a 6-month postponement in production, he returned home to Cork and there received a call about the film Michael Collins. He travelled to Dublin to meet with director Neil Jordan and successfully won the role of Collins' assassin. Jordan wrote about his meeting with the actor. "I have found someone to play Collins' killer, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers from County Cork. Apparently he looks like a young Tom Cruise. He comes into the casting session with alarming certainty, obviously gifted." Rhys-Meyers continued working constantly from that point and appeared in such films as The Maker, Telling Lies in America, The Tribe, and going on to film in The Governess in 1988, Bee Monkey 1988, Titus 1999, and Ride with the Devil 1999. He has received critical acclaim for several performances, most notably as Brian Slade in Velvet Goldmine, as Steerpike in the British miniseries Gormenghast, and as a sympathetic football coach in Bend It Like Beckham. He's also a talented singer and musician, having performed his own vocals in Velvet Goldmine and appearing on the film's soundtrack. Rhys Myers still resides in County Cork, Ireland. Chris O'Dowd was born and raised in Boyle, County Roscommon, on the 9th of October 1979 and is the youngest of 5 siblings. In the United Kingdom, O'Dowd starred BBC Two's Roman's Empire Redcap and the award-winning documentary drama The Year London Blew Up. He received wide attention as Roy Treneman, one of the lead characters in the Channel 4 comedy The IT Crowd, which ran for 4 series between 2006 and 2010. He's also starred in several films: Gulliver's Travels, Bridesmaids, Friends with Kids, Cuban Fury, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, and The Cloverfield Paradox. He created and starred in the Sky One television series Moon Boy, which aired between 2012 and 2015, and brought him Irish Film and Television Award nominations in acting, writing and directing. Since 2017, he's appeared as Miles Daly in the Epix comedy series Get Shorty. He had a recurring role on the comedy drama series Girls, and his performance in the British comedy TV series State of the Union won him a Primetime Emmy Award. He starred in the 2009 film The Boat That Rocked, inspired by the story of offshore pirate broadcasters Radio Caroline, which was released in Canada and the US as Pirate Radio. He starred opposite Sienna Miller in the film Hippie Hippie Shake, about the groundbreaking 60s magazine Oz, the precursor to a whole generation of lad mags. He plays Felix Dennis, who later became the publisher of Maxim, and his landmark Indecency Trial. In preparation for the role, O'Dowd met with Dennis and said he was an incredibly charismatic man. O'Dowd appeared in the 2010 film Dinner for Schmucks, an American version of the French farce Le Dîner de Con. He also appeared on panel show Nevermind the Buzzcocks and starred in an ITV2 comedy series entitled FM. He had a supporting role in This Is 40, and he described fighting over Megan Fox in a pool during filming as one of the most fun things I've ever done. In 2022, Chris played Philip in the Netflix film Slumberland alongside Jason Momoa, Kyle Chandler and young actress Marlo Barkley. Ruth Negga was born in 1981 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. She grew up in Limerick until moving to London. She studied at the Samuel Beckett Centre at Trinity College, Dublin, graduating with a BA in Acting Studies. She's known for her roles in the AMC television series Preacher and the film Loving. For her portrayal of Mildred Loving in the latter, Negga received a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actress. For her Broadway debut as Lady Macbeth, in a production of Shakespeare's Macbeth in 2022, she earned a nomination for the Tony Award for Best Actress in a Play. She also appeared in the films Isolation, Breakfast on Pluto, Warcraft, Ad Astra, and Passing. Other television projects include the BBC miniseries Criminal Justice, RTE's Love Hate, E4's Misfits, and ABC's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. James Dornan was born on the 1st of May 1982 in Hollywood. No, not that Hollywood. Hollywood County Down, Northern Ireland, and grew up in the suburbs of Belfast. The recipient of 2 Irish Film and Television Awards, he's been nominated for a BAFTA Television Award and a Golden Globe Award. He's the first cousin, twice removed, of actress Greer Garson. He attended Teesside University but dropped out and moved to London in 2002 to train as an actor, but never applied to drama school. He worked in a pub in Knightsbridge for 6 months until he embarked on his modelling career. Initially beginning his career as a model in 2001, he appeared in campaigns for Hugo Boss, Dior Homme and Calvin Klein. Dubbed the Golden Torso by the New York Times, he was ranked one of the 25 biggest male models of all time by Vogue in 2015. In addition, he performed in the folk band Sons of Jim until 2008. His first acting role in a film was as Count Axel Fersen in the Sofia Coppola film Marie Antoinette. Dornan began acting in 2006 and earned international recognition for playing Sheriff Graham Humbert in the series Once Upon a Time. He appeared in 9 episodes of the ABC fantasy television series between 2011 and 2013, playing the role of the huntsman Sheriff Graham. While Graham was killed by the town's Mare Regina, the evil queen, he returned as a huntsman for the season finale A Land Without Magic, and later as Graham for the season 2 episode Welcome to Storybrooke, in its flashback segment. Dornan starred alongside Gillian Anderson in the Northern Irish drama series The Fall, playing Paul Spector, a serial killer terrorising Belfast. He initially auditioned for the role of a police officer but was later called upon to audition for the lead role, for which he was eventually selected. Beginning in 2013, the show aired for 3 series ending in October 2016. For this, he was nominated for a British Academy Television Award for Best Actor. In film, he has portrayed Axel von Fersen in Sofia Coppola's Marie Antoinette, Christian Grey in the 50 Shades franchise, Jan Kubis in Anthropoid, Commandant Pat Quinlan in The Siege of Jadotville, Paul Conroy in A Private War, and Parr in Belfast, receiving a nomination for the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor Motion Picture for the lattermost. After Belfast, he played the lead role of an amnesiac Elliot Stanley, Eugene Cassidy, in BBC thriller series A Tourist. Debuting on BBC iPlayer in January 2022, it became the most watched drama of that year in the UK. He returned to mainstream cinema in 2023, appearing in Netflix's poorly received action film Heart of Stone, as an MI6 agent Parker who was the antagonist of the film. That year also saw Dornan in his second collaboration with Kenneth Branagh in A Haunting in Venice, which was Branagh's third Hercule Poirot film, playing Dr. Leslie Ferrier, who was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder after serving as a military doctor in the World War II. Compared to its predecessors, the film underperformed at the box office, but received a better critical reception. Helen O'Hara, reviewing the film for Empire, felt that his character was comparatively small, but said Dornan is suitably twitchy as a veteran with PTSD. Martin McCann grew up in the working-class Divis Flats area of the Falls Road in Belfast. He joined Youth Action Northern Ireland's Rainbow Factory, a cross-community drama troupe for Catholic and Protestant children, and also got to spend time in the United States in the summer as part of an exchange programme. His mother found a role for him by checking the local newspapers, and he soon won the stage production part of The Artful Dodger in Oliver Twist. He got lead roles in productions of Bugsy Malone and The Crucible. He had a feature role in a short film by Simon Fitzmaurice, The Sound of People. He followed that up with his feature film debut as Jimmy Riley in Closing the Ring. He had a role in the film My Boy Jack as Guardsman Beau, about Rudyard Kipling and his son, who was killed in World War I. McCann played Sergeant R.V. Berg in miniseries Pacific. In early 2010, he was shooting in Belfast for the music comedy Killing Bono, a film released in April 2011 about the life of one of Bono's classmates who tries to make it in the music business, only to have his failures and frustrations magnified by the continued rise of U2. McCann played the supporting role of Bono. In 2011, McCann completed a principal role in Terry George's Whole Lotta Soul. He was also cast in Titanic, Blood and Steel, a 12-part miniseries drama chronicling the building of the Titanic and the story about the ship before it left on its maiden voyage. He also starred in the 2014 short film Magpie, later expanded into the 2015 film The Survivalist, in which he starred as a survivalist, for which he was nominated for the award for Best Lead Actor in a Feature Film at the 13th Irish Film and Television Awards for his performance in The Survivalist. In the 2017 film Maze, depicting the 1983 prison break at HM Prison Maze, outside of Belfast, McCann played Oscar, one of the imprisoned IRA officers. Cillian Murphy, born on the 10th of July 1985, is known professionally as Cillian Scott, who first came to prominence for his role as Tommy in the RTE1 series Love-Hate from 2010 to 2014. The youngest of 6 children, Scott grew up in Sandymount in Dublin and attended St Michael's College on Aylesbury Road in Dublin 4. His siblings included former politician Owen Murphy and playwright Colin Murphy. His interest in acting was inspired by his brother Owen's performance in a school production of Hamlet. He studied English and philosophy at University College Dublin before moving to London to study at the Drama Centre. Initially starting out in theatre, he changed his name to Cillian Scott to avoid confusion with Cillian Murphy, another Irish actor. He gained fame in Ireland for the role of Tommy in Love-Hate, which first started airing in 2010. During the next few years, Scott appeared in small roles in films including 71 and Calvary, as well as starring in 2013's Black Ice. After Love-Hate finished, Scott appeared in his first lead role in Irish thriller film Traders in 2015. Scott joined Ripper Street for Series 4 and 5 in 2016, portraying Assistant Commissioner Augustine Dove. The same year he appeared in Trespass Against Us. In 2017 he appeared in Strike as D.I. Eric Wardle, and the same year he was cast as a lead in Damnation, replacing Aidan Young, who departed the show due to creative differences. The series was picked up by USA Network in June 2017, with filming beginning the following month. In January 2018, Damnation was cancelled after its first season. He starred in The Commuter with Liam Neeson in 2018 and described the film as a genuine career highlight. In 2019, Scott starred alongside Sarah Green in Dublin Murders, based on the Dublin Murder Squad book series by Town of French. He portrayed lead character Detective Rob Riley and adopted an English accent for the role. The series was filmed in Belfast and Dublin over 7 months. In April 2021, Scott was cast in the Disney Plus series Secret Invasion, set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Robert Sheehan was born in Portlaoise, County Laois, and at the age of 16 he appeared in the Australian television show Foreign Exchange. He followed it with roles in The Clinic and The Tudors, and portrayed Louis XIV of France in Young Blades. In 2008 he appeared in Rock Rivals and Bittersweet, a 2-part television comedy drama, and during this time he also appeared in films including Ghostwood. He's best known for television roles such as Nathan Young in Misfits, Darren Tracy in Love-Hate, and Klaus Hargreaves in The Umbrella Academy, as well as film roles such as Tom Natsworthy in Mortal Engines and Simon Lewis in The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones. Sheehan has received multiple Irish Film and Television Award nominations and a British Academy Television Award nomination. Barry Keoghan was born on the 17th of October 1992 and grew up in Summerhill, Dublin. He has received various accolades, including a British Academy Film Award, and was nominated for an Academy Award and 2 Golden Globe Awards. Keoghan began his acting career in 2011 when he answered a casting notice in a Sheriff Street shop window for the crime film Between the Canals. He portrayed Ado in a small role in the film, which was released in 2011. At the age of 18, he appeared in the Irish soap opera Fair City. In 2013, Keoghan appeared as Wayne on the crime drama Love-Hate. The role earned him recognition in Ireland, and he went on to feature in 71 in 2014 and Mammal and Trespass Against Us. Keoghan gained recognition in 2017 for his roles in Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk and Yorgos Lanthimos' The Killing of a Sacred Deer. He gained praise for his performances in the Irish crime film Calm with Horses and in the fantasy film The Green Knight, and he expanded to big-budget films with his role as Druig in the Marvel Cinematic Universe film Eternals. In 2022 he appeared in Martin McDonagh's The Banshees of Inisherin, for which he won the BAFTA Award for Best Actor in a Supporting Role, and received nominations for the Golden Globe and Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Keoghan then starred in the psychological drama Saltburn, for which he gained nominations for a Golden Globe and BAFTA Award for Best Actor, Saoirse Ronan was born on the 12th of April 1994 in the Bronx, New York City, the only child of Irish parents Monica and Paul Ronan, both from Dublin. The family moved back to Dublin when Ronan was 3 years old. She was raised in Ardatin, County Carlow, where she attended Ardatin National School. Her parents later had her tutored privately at home, and in her early teens, Ronan was living again in Dublin with her parents, who settled in the seaside village of Howth. Saoirse is primarily known for her work in period dramas since adolescence. She has received various accolades, including a Golden Globe Award, in addition to nominations for 4 Academy Awards and 5 British Academy Film Awards. She made her acting debut in 2003 on the Irish medical drama series The Clinic, and her film debut in I Could Never Be Your Woman. She had a breakthrough role as a precocious teenager in Atonement, which earned her a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. Her career progressed with starring roles as a murdered girl seeking closure in The Lovely Bones and a teenage assassin in Hannah, and the supporting role of a baker in the Grand Budapest Hotel. She received critical acclaim and nominations for the Academy Award for Best Actress for playing a homesick Irish immigrant in 1950s New York in Brooklyn, the eponymous high school senior in Greta Gerwig's Lady Bird, and Jo March in Gerwig's Little Women. She also won a Golden Globe Award for Lady Bird. On stage, Ronan portrayed Abigail Williams in the 2016 Broadway revival of The Crucible and Lady Macbeth in the 2021 West End revival of The Tragedy of Macbeth. In 2016, she was featured by Forbes in 2 of their 30 under 30 lists, and in 2020, the New York Times ranked her 10th in its list of the greatest actors of the 21st century. Paul Colin Michael Mescal was born on the 2nd of February 1996 in Maynooth. He studied acting at the Lear Academy. He rose to fame with his role in the miniseries Normal People, earning a BAFTA Television Award and a nomination for a Primetime Emmy Award. Mescal progressed to film acting with roles in the psychological dramas The Lost Daughter and God's Creatures. His starring roles as a troubled father in Aftersun and a mysterious neighbour in All of Us Strangers earned him nominations for BAFTA Film Awards, in addition to a nomination for an Academy Award for the former. He received a Laurence Olivier Award for his portrayal of Stanley Kowalski in a 2022 revival of the play A Streetcar Named Desire. Mescal has expanded to big-budget films with a leading role in the historical action film Gladiator II. Did we miss anyone out, or simply who are your favourites and in what roles? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe and become part of the Puka Press family.